And thank you for waking up early, for the good job you are doing in your diverse roles, media, secretariat, and members of the panel. I want to pray so that we can start our session today. Almighty God, we call upon your wisdom, favor, and blessing as we execute the responsibilities you have bestowed on us. We seek your guidance to treat and consider all matters and those that shall come under deliberation in so just, fair, and faithful a manner as to advance the peace, prosperity, and welfare of our country and of those whose interests you have committed to our charge. Amen. This morning we have 4 candidates, then we have 2 in the afternoon. And our first candidate is called Patrick Sanya Otoshwa Odame. So we can have Odame come, please. Mr. Odame, welcome, please, and have a seat. Thank you. Feel free to adjust your seat if you so wish to what you like. You have a pen and paper and water before you for you to use as when you need. My name is Nelson Makanda. I am the chair of this election panel, and we are indeed grateful that you applied. You saw our advert and applied for the position of member of IEBC. And I'd like to congratulate you for being shortlisted for the same, because there were many who applied, but your CV convinced the panel, and we are grateful. I want to invite my colleagues here to introduce themselves to you, and then after that we'll come to you. Linda, please. Thank you.
Thank you, Chairman. Good morning, sir. My name is Linda 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜, and I serve this panel as the Vice Chair. I want to take this opportunity to welcome you for your interview session. Karibu sana.
Good morning, Bwana Odome.
Good morning.
Naitwa Bwana Andrew Tanui, mwanachama wa jopo hili la uteuzi, na karibu.
Thank you.
Good morning.
Good morning.
Caroline Kituku, welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, Patrick. My
Good
name
morning.
is Adam Solo. I'm a member of this election panel.
Thank you.
Good morning, Patrick.
Good morning.
My name is Nicodemus Bore. Karibu sana.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Odame.
Good
My
morning.
name is Fatuma Ali Saman, a member of this panel. Please feel welcome.
Thank you.
Good morning, Mr. Odame, and karibu sana. My name is 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜, and I'm a member of the panel.
Thank you, Ambassador.
Good morning, Patrick Sanya.
Good morning.
My name is Evans Misati. I'm a member of this election panel, and we welcome you to this interactive.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
Now we will come to you, and kindly, briefly, in 5 minutes, do let us know who you are. Highlight your profile and the things that you think in your profile are significant for us to know, but they're also relevant for the role that you have applied for. Do mention to us if you're a member of any professional society and if you have received any award or honor. Thank you. Please proceed.
Thank you very much, Chair and distinguished member of this panel. My name is Patrick Sanya Otoshwa Odame. I have 4 names, but you can call me Patrick, which is easier. In the terms of my background, I come from western part of Kenya, Busia County, and I'm a Christian with a Christian background. In the terms of education, I started the schooling at a local primary school called 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜𝐤 until 1975, and then joined Budalangi Secondary School in the neighboring constituency. Then from there, I joined Friends School 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜𝐤, where I did my A-levels. And then from there, I went to Egerton College by then, Agricultural College, where I did agricultural engineering with a specialization in soils and water engineering. Upon graduation, I was posted to Kisumu as a project officer under provincial irrigation unit. And basically, we were working with the smallholder farmers who are actually voters in terms of identifying irrigation schemes, designing and organizing them into water user associations. We know that water can easily bring conflict, and therefore I was involved in most cases organizing them in order to avoid conflict, because water is a shared commodity. I worked there under smallholder irrigation development program, and later on I was deployed to Kisumu district by then to establish the first series of district irrigation units. And therefore I was involved in organization of farmers, and trying also to do extension services. Extension services basically involve farmers organization. From there, I went for further studies in the Netherlands and pursued agri-food production and marketing, which is just tropical and subtropical agriculture. My passion was basically to go beyond the engineering aspect and to know something about the issue of production, the value chains, and how products can be able to move up to international markets. In the Netherlands, I had an opportunity to study, to do work placement in a flower farm. And I studied the innovations the Netherlands people have and what makes them competitive in the floriculture industry. In most cases, you know, we have the World Flower Auction at Aalsmeer, and that's where we sell most of our crops, especially the floriculture. I came back to Kenya in 1999, and I was deployed at the ministry headquarters as an officer in charge of floriculture. And as we know, floriculture is one of the commodity that brings high foreign exchange to Kenya. In that case, it is private sector driven. And my role was basically to provide the policy guidance and help them in areas where they have constraints in order to go to international market. I worked with a variety of farmers, both private and also those who are initiating some of the projects. I worked there for 3 years, and then I moved to Western Kenya. That's Bukura Agricultural Training College, to impart skills to in-service students who are upgrading to do diploma. And my passion was basically to share my experiences in the terms of the horticulture industry. I worked there for about 3 years, and later on, I was deployed to Agriculture Information Resource Center. At Agriculture Information Center, basically, we were doing the packaging of knowledge products. And probably you are aware of the content where we were doing the 𝐒𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜 mkulima. While there, I was the coordinator for training, and I had a chance to train some of the participants from South Sudan and also Somalia. From there, I worked there until 2009, and then there was an advert for the formation of interim independent electoral commission, which I applied. I had a passion because I had witnessed the 2007 election violence while I was in Kisumu, and I came to learn that election can be a trigger to violence. Therefore, I joined the IEBC in 2009, and our role was basically to help set up structures, the offices. We had to possess the offices which belonged to defunct ECK, and also help the new commissioners to recruit the constituency election coordinators and make sure that they had been settled. I was deployed in the Bungoma region, where we have 2 counties, that's Busia and Bungoma. While there as regional election coordinator, I was in charge of about 15 constituencies. We embarked on voter registration. By then, it was really manual, where we're using scanners to develop the register. Of course, we are aware that during that time, the black books, which had been used by ECK, had been outlawed. And therefore, we had to embark on serious mobilization and to bring confidence in the electoral process after the violence of 2007. From there, I worked. Actually, the most challenging thing is that during that time,
I would like to have you summarize in a minute so that we can move to another thing.
Yeah. Then from there, I was deployed to Central, Upper Central, where I was in charge of Nyeri, Kirinyaga, and Nyandarua. I did the 2013 election. And then from there, I was deployed to the ministry headquarters, 2016, to be in charge of voter register.
Did you say ministry or IEBC headquarters?
That's the headquarters.
IEBC
headquarters, Anniversary Towers, where I was in charge of voter registration as voter registration manager. Then I worked there. I did the 2017 election and the repeat. And then 2018, I went to Kisumu. I was deployed to Kisumu. Actually, I requested to move to Kisumu because I was just nearing retirement. So then I moved to Kisumu County, where I did voter registration, mass voter registration. And then I exited actually in June 2022, just before the election.
Much. I want to ask Linda to ask you some questions. Linda, please.
Thank you, Chairman. Mr. Patrick, as a member of the IEBC Commission, what competencies do you think are essential for the team to work effectively
Thank you, Madam Linda. There are quite a number of competences which are required. One is teamwork, collegiality. We need to form teams which can be able to perform various tasks. Another one is being able to listening. Because if you cannot listen to the secretariat, then you are bound to have problems. You also need to have computer literacy so that you can understand a number of issues surrounding the election. You need to understand the legal framework which guide the election and the regulations so that you can be able now to function within the limits of the law.
And arising from your career journey experience, what situation or what experience has best prepared you for this high pressure, high stakes job? And if you have been in such a situation, would you share with this panel?
Yeah, thank you very much. There are situations, I know it's a very strenuous job. Having worked there for 13 years, it's not a really mean task. You are always on your toes under a lot of pressure, and you have to meet tight or strict deadlines. While working in Bungoma, that's the time we had a disturbance in Mount 𝐏𝐴𝐤𝐤. And people had vowed they are not going to participate in the referendum. So it took a lot of negotiation skills and the communication to be able to convince the people that referendum is going to bring a lot of benefits to them, because basically the disturbance was about land issues, historical injustices on the land issues. And I was able to convince them, and by 6, I was in Mount 𝐏𝐴𝐤𝐤 using the radio to appeal to people to come out and vote. They came out in large numbers. By 11, 90% of the population had already voted. There's also another situation when I was in Nyeri in 2012. Remember, we had the issue of boundaries, and then we had these illegal gangs. Already, they didn't want their fingerprints to be taken during voter registration. And the areas which were very much disturbed were like Olujororok. And we had to move there and engage with the leadership to the point that we are able now to agree, and the people registered in big numbers. And you remember in that region, people talked about a tyrant of numbers. I think I was the force behind that.
It's all right, Mr. Patrick. I wish you the very best. Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you very much, Madam Carol. Please.
Thank you, Chair. Patrick, how is the independence of the IEBC safeguarded in the Constitution or any other law, and what implications does that have for the IEBC commissioners?
The independence of IEBC is protected within the Constitution, within Election Act, within IEBC Act, even the Political Party Act. There are quite a number, and even the regulations, which give IEBC the mandate. And of course, it gives the mandate to be able to conduct election and the referenda, and any election for some of the statutory bodies outside that. And it also gives them the functions which IBC can be able to undertake. And there are quite a number.
Okay, so how specifically does the Constitution or the laws that you've mentioned safeguard the independence of the IBC? What are those things that the law has clothed IBC with that makes it truly independent?
The law provides that IBC should be impartial. It should be transparent and accountable to the people of Kenya. And it has to work within the legal framework provided.
Absolutely. So take us through now the things that speak to the independence of the IBC when it is discharging its mandate and functions independently, transparently, and accountable to the people of Kenya and to other government institutions. What are these things?
One of the things, for example, when they are doing the voter registration, we need to have inclusivity in such a way that we give people their rights to vote or participate in election. In the area of delimitation, public participation is very crucial. In the area of nomination, there are guidelines in which we engage political parties and the candidates to be able to comply. In the area of voter education, we work with a number of key stakeholders to ensure that they are able to be educated and they become aware of the legal framework and all that pertains to election.
Okay, thank
yes.
you.
Yeah.
I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to invite Madam Koki to ask some questions, please, Koki.
Thank you very much, Chair. Mr. Odame.
Yes, Ambassador.
I think I recall many years ago working closely with you.
Yes, as my trainer.
Yes, and I remember one of the things that you said that you were struggling with then and you are struggling with just before you left was the issue of public trust and confidence in IEBC. You told us that you were, when you joined IIEC 13 years ago, you have been with IIEC for 13 years. When you joined, your priority was to restore or to regain public trust. Unfortunately, this is still the same issue that confronts us today. Public trust and public confidence in IEBC. Perhaps you can share with us, this panel and Kenyans watching you at home, 4 things that you did practically to regain trust for IIEC that transitioned to the original IEBC. What you are able to do at that time, then we can see how we can apply the same to this forthcoming IEBC if you become a member.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador. You are my facilitator in a bridge training, and which we have applied to the letter. Yeah, to ensure that all our election officials and the stakeholders are well trained using participatory methodology. As a facilitator or a trained facilitator and accredited, one of the things I've done is development of knowledge products. You can see the very many manuals. We have developed guidelines which we use to disseminate information that help to create awareness about electoral process. One of the things we did during the transition period between 2009 and 2010 was basically to set up structures. And that the structure which would be able to deliver a credible, fair, free, and credible election. And that meant that we had to recruit the 210 constituency coordinators, induct them, train them, so that they are ready to undertake the referendum. Beside that, I've also participated in the sharing of knowledge from my experience on benchmarking or observation trips. One of it was the US 2016 election. When I came back, I think I was able to share a lot of knowledge on how electoral systems work and how we can be able to make the election credible.
So creating structures and also sharing knowledge, how does that help restore confidence? I'm looking at practical things that you did. You are in a situation that is, all the public have lost confidence and trust, like we are in the situation now. What can you do if you are lucky to become a member of the IEBC commission? What are you going to do as a priority? 1, 2 things, practical things, to immediately begin to restore, because we assume that IEBC already has structures now, because we have a full secretariat that is working, and we have structures, we have everything on the ground, but still we don't have confidence, we don't have trust. How do you address that?
One of the things I'll do is basically stakeholder engagement. I think we have not engaged our stakeholders fully for them to understand the processes. From the petitions we have had, basically what is being challenged is our processes. They are not well understood. The technology itself has not been understood very well, how it functions, how it affects the results which are being transmitted. So I would really engage ecosystem of stakeholders, and that include religious community, it includes political parties. I would wish to really see a political party liaison committee which is very strong as a way of engaging, so that we reduce tensions, people can understand our processes. In the voter registration, we'll be able to have a more simpler system. In the terms of transmission of result, let's open up even what is this server all about? Is it something which is so complicated? How can people be able to track what they are doing?
Okay. Mr. Odame, I wish you luck and thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. I want to invite FCPA to engage the candidate, please.
Thank you, Chair. Bwana Odame, when did you leave IEBC?
I left on the 1st of June, 2022, under 50-year rule.
50.
50-year rule retirement.
So you retired at 50? not 60.
No, you see, if you don't go up to 60, then you retire under 50-year rule.
Okay.
Yeah,
How
because I
old-
started my leave in April, and I was due to retire in August.
Okay.
And the reason for that is that the commission made a decision that if you are retiring that particular year, they would not want to subject you to the petitions, which take another 6 months. Especially presidential is about 14 days, but these other positions, it will go up to 6 months. Therefore, you'll need an extension.
Okay. Now, further education is one of the core functions of IEBC. And I believe you've been participating in further education. So what operational challenges exist in that area? And what policy directions would you recommend if offered an opportunity as a commissioner at IEBC?
Thank you. One of the biggest challenge with the voter education is that it's not continuous. It's one of the area which is not funded, and we have always relied on partners to fund. And in that case, we are not able to do effective civic and voter education. Of course, civic education is supposed to be done by civil societies and other groups, like religious groups and all that. And also, one is funding, the constraint. Two is coordination with other key stakeholders who are helping us to do the voter education, which is really our mandate. So then we see some gaps that if voters or citizens are not well informed, then they are bound to have even mistrust. They may not be able to participate effectively in the electoral process.
So what policy directions will you provide if offered an opportunity as a commissioner to address those challenges?
I would really put up a policy on stakeholder engagement and collaboration. I'll also want to put the interagency mechanism in which we can work together with the institutions which can be able to help us communicate effectively to the citizens of the Republic of Kenya.
Thank you, and I wish you well. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much. Evans Misati, please.
Thanks so much, Chair. Patrick, now that you have been in IEBC, you know the gaps we have been talking about voter registration. The Constitution of Kenya says that voter registration should be a continuous process. Will you please tell this panel what are some of the challenges IEBC has been having in ensuring that we do continuous voter registration?
One of the challenges is funding. We seem to get funding very closer to election, and it's one-off, rather than funding various segments of the electoral cycle. And also, while we say that we can be able to open up voter registration at constituency level, you will find that many young people, of course, they're the ones who are not registered yet, who are not in a register, they may not have the drive to go to those constituencies and register as voters. So while we may say we want to open up the priority of people is not really to register as voters. Yeah, because, you know, political mobilization is key in attracting people to register. In many places where I've been, you could even provide a kit and someone will say, I'm not going to register because I don't know who I'm going to vote for. So you can see political parties and candidates play a very big role in the terms of mobilization. And even if we say it is continuous, you will still have a very low turnout. For now, you can see this political alignment which is taking place. People are still confused. They don't know who they are going to, who is going to contest, and therefore they wait. And the Kenyans have a habit of waiting until the last minute, until they are very sure. It's when they will be able to come up and register. And you can see, even when we do mass voter registration for the 30 days, you will always see an extension of another 15 days.
From your understanding, you're talking about the finance, and even you're saying even if we say it, but you have not really given me the reason why the voter registration is not going on from the administrative point of view, or from regulation point of view. So, are you sure you have your facts right?
Yeah. You see, after election, usually, even just before election, we close the register, or we suspend the registration until after election. And until that is lifted again through a gazette notice, you may not have the registration going on. And the absence of commissioners, I think, has really affected the activities of the commission in one way or another.
If given an opportunity and you're an IEBC commissioner, what could you do different? Because Kenyans watching you out there will be wondering, what exactly does an IEBC person do, the constituents people who are there? What do they do on a daily basis? Also, what policy would you put in place to ensure that Kenyans have value for the money, for even the IEBC staff who are in the, spread across the regions?
Thank you, Evans. What I would do is basically, there was a process which we had proposed earlier, the integration of voter registration and the issuance of IDs and the passport through the interagency mechanism, which really helped us during the 2016. If we are able to integrate such that people can be able to really, as they get their ID, they are also able to choose where they are likely to vote. Then we can only be able to get their biometrics, the same way we do with the certificate of good conduct. I think that would really help. And then we give them also a chance to transfer to any other station they would wish if they require to transfer. I think that would enhance, especially the participation of youths in the terms of registration they come into the register of voters.
Thanks so much, and I wish you all the best.
Thank you very much.
Thank you. I want to invite Fatuma to ask some questions. Fatuma, please.
Thank you very much, Chairman. You said you could be called Patrick.
Yes.
Patrick, please tell the panel what is the strategic importance of structured engagement between the IEBC and its stakeholders during the electoral cycle.
Thank you, Madam Fatma. The strategic importance of engaging stakeholders, one, is to have them participate. effectively. Two is to gain their support, because you require their support to be able to reach out on the outreach to other stakeholders. You also, it will also help you build trust and confidence. And they'll also be able to understand your processes. And it also creates transparency and accountability.
How does the same contribute to mitigating violence?
Indeed, it is also good, because sometimes violence comes because of mistrust, because of miscommunication, and we need to have a dispute resolution mechanism, and that can only be achieved through a stakeholder engagement.
Early enough and?
Early enough, during, and after.
Thank you very much. Wish you well, Chairman.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. I want to invite 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜𝐤 to ask you some questions, please.
Thank you very much, Chair. Patrick, you are currently working as the chair of some water body in Busia.
Busia Water Sewerage Company.
Yes, I didn't hear you mention. That's why I'm.
Yeah, I didn't talk about what I do currently.
Is it a full-time employment?
No, it's a board which is created to deliver water and sewerage services in Busia. And after my retirement, I was a member of a task force before to help the governor in the first 100 days to come up with the strategies. And I was a chair of a committee which was dealing with agriculture, water, and other areas. Of course, that assignment was done and completed. And later on, they advertised position of the board. Actually, we had not had a board for 2 years. So the water company was really struggling with the governance issues. So then we applied and went through competitive interview. I was privileged to be selected to serve on the board. And then we did, during our first meeting, they elected me as the chair of the board.
What is the budgetary allocation of that body?
Basically, interestingly, it doesn't have any budget from county government. That is the biggest problem it has had. It was expected to stand on its own, but as we know, water bodies are really struggling, especially where they're using pumping. The gravity ones are at least viable, but the pumping ones have a lot of operational costs, which cause a lot of problems. Therefore, it was expected to sustain itself. And by the time we were joining, it did not have adequate resources. There was very little investment into the infrastructure, to the point that they were very dilapidated. Tanks were leaking. Some of the pipes had been uprooted by road contractors. Pumps were very old, broken down, and therefore many schemes were not functional to the optimum, denying the residents of Busia water.
I'm surprised because you did not include it in your CV that you work in that place. Yet it's a good job. Are you not proud to be working at that place as a chair?
Actually, it's really part-time because the water regulation requires that you meet four times in a year. Yeah, therefore, it's not a full-time job, and if I did not include is an oversight because it's a very important component.
Okay. There was a memorandum that was sent to you. You received it?
Yes, I received it yesterday.
Yes.
And I responded to it.
Is there anything else you want to add on it?
One thing I wanted just to say is that this body has serious financial problem, is in a financial crisis. And we have been engaging the county government because water provision is a function of the county government. And we as a body or a board, we come in basically to execute the mandate. Now, the biggest problem with BUASCO or Busia Water and Sewerage Company is the way it was registered. It was registered as a private entity with the shareholding. And for the 10 years, we had people who are board members, but they are private shareholders offering services. And therefore, government and even partners cannot be able to fund a private entity. So what we did basically was now to engage the governor so that they could be able to buy out those shares so that it becomes wholly owned by the county. But this process has taken a long time. If you can see one of the attachment, this thing has come on the 10th of April is when now they are changing. And that was after they were prompted by the Senate. So then, as a board, we are incapacitated to even lobby for resources, which would be able to help the company in its growth and meet its operation. By the time we are joining, already they were in arrears in terms of salary and even statutory deduction. And this has continued for some time. So we engaged the county assembly as well as the governorship. Then they agreed to give us a grant of 30 million, which was later on reduced to 15. And then we only got 5. Out of 5, we used 3 to pay electricity bill. We remained with the 2. Out of 2, we borrowed 1.2 to pay staff salaries. We remained with 1.8, which we revived the 2 schemes. So we are still negotiating with the county government and to prioritize water as a very important aspect so that they inject more resources. Of course, there's a promise, and therefore, we as a board, we are willing to do as much as it takes. Even we do that more or less on pro bono because we are not even paid the allowances. We drive from here to Busia, come back, discuss, have one-day meeting, and still come back. But we have a role to play because we have to give back to the society.
Thank you, Chairman.
Thank you. Professor Adams-Law, please.
Thank you, Chair. Sanya Otoshwa Odame.
Yes, Prof.
You've been in IEBC, or you are in IEBC for close to
13 years.
13 years.
Yeah.
You transitioned from the double IIEC to the IEBC.
True.
You served in an IIEC that came as a result of the 2007-2008 precipice.
True.
So we can say, and you are a man of white hair nearly, so you have seen it all.
True.
And I heard you say here, because, and you saw Ambassador laughing when you mentioned the server. I'm known here as Mr. Server. What is it? Because I was intrigued that having served that long and having witnessed 3 elections in which the server was always a contentious issue. And I can tell you for sure that if it's not resolved with the incoming IEBC, it will be an issue again in 2020. I can tell you that with finality. Based on your experience in IEBC and based on the fact that you told Ambassador Koki that even this server needs to be explained, tell Kenyans, you having worked in IEBC, why is this server never explained by IEBC itself, despite it being always an issue and likely still to be an issue?
Thank you, Prof. A server is just a computer, basically, with its own network, which is used to store electoral data. In this case, it hosts quite a number of data. One of it is the register of voters. And then it can also be used for the issue of nomination.
Now let's go because of time.
Yes, and in the terms of...
Does it store?
Yes.
The form 34A as declared at the polling station?
I would say yes, but there's mistrust.
No. Does it store?
It does.
I've been using the parliamentary Hansard. Now let me go to what was used in olden times. You remember the carbon copy?
Yes.
You write here, and it gives you, it leaves a copy.
Yes.
So you remove this one, and you remain with a carbon copy. Would you say, from a common sense perspective, that the server holds the carbon copy of Form 34A?
I don't think it does, Prof.
Why?
What is usually there is basically the logs.
No. If it is prescribed, I know that you are going to tell me the computer language, that before it is transcribed, it has the what. But finally, once it's transcribed, just the same way that when the Hansard is transcribed, we will get exactly what Odame said. Isn't that what the server does?
A server is basically, it is a database, basically. And this database, when you vote, it is able to record even the timestamp.
No, you're going into too many details.
Yes.
I'm asking, this thing we call, and if you don't know, just say you don't know, this result transmission system.
Yes.
That goes to the server. What does it transmit to the server?
The form 34A for presidential.
So it is a true copy of what will be brought to Bomas.
Yeah,
that
true.
goes to the server.
True.
Thank you. My next question, and the last question. Imagine a scenario that 𝐏𝐚𝐭𝐫𝐢𝐜 is a commissioner and a senior government official demands expedited clearance of a candidate in violation of IEBC rules. How would you navigate this pressure while upholding the Commission's independence?
Thank you very much, Prof. We have faced such a situations many times. Pressure coming from all over, even from higher offices. But it's very important to stick on the rules and the guidelines which are provided. We would politely tell the person putting pressure, yes, I'm willing to assist, but let's go by the rules which are provided. And you stand with that, you will be able, you will do that very politely, they'll be able to understand. We have faced a situation where when you are recruiting the officials, someone comes with a list of even 100 people. You take it, but you tell him, these people will be subjected to the interview just like any other. Those who qualify, will take them. And they understand. At the end, when you have already chosen people through competitive interviews, you know, they'll take that list, go back to the people and say, you see, I assisted you, without knowing that you have done it objectively.
Thank you, Chair.
I suspect that you have two questions. Please.
Mr. Dame, I know it's long since you were in high school. But
True.
At the end, we usually, the chair asks us to ask a high school question. And the first one is usually from your area of expertise. I've seen that you have served, other than the IEBC, you served in the Ministry of Agriculture for a very long time, and specifically in matters irrigation. Which is the oldest public irrigation scheme in Kenya, and in which year was it initiated?
I know of Bura. I may not remember very well the year it was initiated.
Thank you. My second question is, which is the West African country that was founded by freed slaves in 1847?
Ivory Coast.
Thank you, Chair.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dame. We are grateful for the time we have shared and for the illumination we have received from interacting with you about your candidature and IEBC and the role that you have applied for. We want to wish you well. But just as we finish, I don't know whether you have anything that you would like to say. Your parting shot, take 1 minute and say something, a comment or a question. If there is none, then we will proceed.
Thank you, Chair. Mine is just to appreciate the panel, the Chair, and the distinguished members for the work you are doing. We know how intense it is. By the time you finish, you'll be feeling like an election official who has been working. But what we are doing is really critical for this country. Elections are the basic foundation for democracy. And therefore, you stand counted as people who contributed immensely to the democracy or democratization of Kenya through elections. Mine is just to wish you well and pray that you will continue tracking the candidates who go through and become commissioners. And hopefully they'll be able to live to the words they have been able to pronounce in this particular boardroom. So mine is to wish you well and have God's blessing as you continue interviewing other participants. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. We have appreciated your time. You will find your certificates with the gentleman at the door. Feel free to pick your notebook and the pen and the water if you so wish. Blessings to you. Thank you. Bye.
Thank you very much.
Asante.